Here I will be showing you a flipped phonics lesson that I did. The sounds that we were working on was the long A sound with silent E. And for this lesson I did an in-class flip using that morning work time, and I set up stations. So this was very similar to the math lesson that I showed you. It's the same setup, it's just a different subject. So for morning work on this day, students came in and were asked to watch the brain pop that I had assigned them. This was a brain pop on the long A sound. And after watching the brain pop, they did a sorting activity. It was a cut and paste worksheet where students were cutting out the pictures and sorting them by their sound, so long A or short A. So this almost served as a type of pre-assessment for me. I'm able to right away determine whether students can identify the correct sound in a word and sort the pictures correctly based on whether or not they were the long or short sound of A. When we got to the phonics lesson, I used Socrative to pre-assess to see which students were already capable of spelling words with the long A silent E sound and which students were not. So for this Socrative quiz, I uploaded photo pictures that I had downloaded from Google of long A words, and students were asked to type the spelling of the word into the answer box. So Socrative allows you to create quizzes that are short answer, where students can type into a box, and you can input the correct answers or the accepted answers when you create the quiz. So that's what I did. I made just a 6-question quiz, and students were typing the spelling into the box for each one. So these were the results from the pre-assessment. I'm able to see which students already are capable of spelling long A silent E words, which students really need a lot of practice, and then which students are almost there but just not quite yet. They need a little extra help. So this helps me group my students, but it also helps me determine what they will need when they get to me in small group and what we can be practicing to meet their needs. So I used this data to group them for stations. These were my 4 stations that day. I had a Wixii or my text station. I had an independent practice activity, a partner practice activity, and then my small group, which was differentiated. The independent practice was a worksheet that I put together where students were taking a pencil and a paper clip to create a spinner, and they spun a beginning sound first, and then they spun an ending sound, which was those long A word family endings, and they recorded the word that they made into one of the boxes below. After they filled all the boxes with words, they were asked to color the boxes that had real words. The partner practice was a memory game for long A that I had from a couple years ago. Students worked with a partner to identify and match words with their picture. So they were reading words and finding the picture that went along with it. They have a lot of these types of games on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'm sure that they have a memory game like this. They have a bunch of memory games that you can either buy, or they have some for free too, that you can download, print, laminate, and use. So my small group was really depending on how the students did on that pre-assessment. So this was the group of students who needed practice spelling the long A words. I had just printed real quick a little template that had the A and the silent E, and then I left blank the other missing sounds so that the students could practice filling them in and spelling the words. So I was dictating words to them, they were filling in the missing letters, blending the sound to make the word, and spelling them. The other part of this activity, after they spelled the words in the front, they flipped those boards over, and those boards are just, I printed those templates on piece of paper and put the pieces of paper in a dry erase sleeve that I got at Lakeshore. And on the back of that paper, I put a smiley face and a sad face, and I wrote on index cards different real and nonsense long A words. As a group, we sounded out and blended the words and tried to decode what the word was, and then students recorded the word either under the sad face or smiley face for nonsense or real, depending on what the word was. So this was that group that really just needed practice spelling, practice decoding, practice blending, and so that's what I had prepared. Very quick little activity for them. So for the students that had proven to me that they could already spell long A, silent E words, they didn't really need practice spelling. They were able to go right into reading, and I had this passage that had a whole lot of long A, silent E words in it, and I found this passage for free on Teachers Pay Teachers. So this group was just reading the passage to themselves with their whisper phone, and then after reading, they took a highlighter and they went through and highlighted all the long A, silent E words from the passage. And then after highlighting the words, there were a couple comprehension questions on the bottom that they could take a pencil and answer in a sentence. And then my fourth station was Wixii. I had created this activity last year actually for my students, and so I could just use it again, and I assigned it to them. On the first page of this Wixii was a picture sort where students were sorting pictures based on their sound, whether it was a short A sound or long A sound. On the few pages after the sort, students saw a picture and were spelling it like the boy is on the left, with the long A, silent E sound. And then the last two pages were sentence sorts, where students read the sentence and they filled in the blank with the missing long A word from the bottom. So Wixii was a great independent, interactive text station for them to do to practice the long A words. And then I was able to go back to my teacher account later and check out their finished projects and see how they did and kind of use it as another form of assessment. So that is my flipped phonics lesson, and I hope you found it helpful.